I'm Damon Zell, and this is your Eve Echoes weekly news update, where we take a deep dive of all the happenings of the week. But first, if you can tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, like and share the video, you can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Now, there is but only one correction from last week, and that's where I said that the honey badgers were part of Pantheon for the big kills, when in fact they are Catch-22. Sorry guys. Now, as an update on my son, he is doing fantastic. He visited the audiologist the other day, and they all loved him over there. He's hitting all the cues for a baby of his age. He is officially 6 months old, and yeah, he's doing great. He's on an upward trend. We also had one of the first big, or not one of the first, but a very big milestone this past week. We heard him laugh for the first time. So he's doing well, everyone else is doing well. It's just been a very chaotic time for me. So I am sorry that the videos aren't coming out exactly on time, and they are getting a little bit further and further apart from each week's episode. But we're going to try and correct that moving forward, and it is what it is. I am going completely scriptless this week. I have sat down several times over the past few days to try and write out a script with everything that happened in community news as well as everything that's happening in the game news, and I just couldn't put pen to paper. I didn't like anything I was writing, and it is what it is, and here we are. So let's look at everything that happened game-wise before we move into the community news. Game-wise, we have the live stream this week, and with that live stream, a lot of hype and a lot of anticipation for what the anniversary is bringing to us. Now, the live stream itself wasn't without its issues. It had several massive issues when they tried giving out those free items, such as 10,000 skill points, as well as a anniversary permanent skin box. Now, during the live video, they would give up these codes, and you were supposed to hit their website, their gift grab extension of the Eve Echoes website, which, with all the players hitting at that time, basically forced a DDoS attack. Now, looking on this and the drought of content that we've had building up to this 1 year, and we knew everything was coming, they knew how hyped the community was and everyone that was there on the live stream. You would think they would have some kind of bolstering of their servers so they wouldn't have this effect, because everyone just about was getting network error after network error after network error after network error. This went on for hours, even went days. And when people were able to finally get into the website to put these codes in, they were met with that the code is no longer valid because it reached the cap. Now, we did bring this up in the content creator section to Joseph, community manager, and he did want the players of Eve Echoes to know that they are aware of the issues that they were having. They even addressed them on the live stream. But as far as the codes that no one was able to redeem, within the next week, they're going to let people know about how to redeem new codes from the website to get those items that they may have missed out on. Now, there was a lot of information that we got from the live stream itself, including a video of the new anniversary song called Infinity. It is a good song. I liked it. I featured it in my hype video that I put out before it playing in the background. I haven't decided. If you hear it in the background of this video, I guess I decided to put it in when I'm editing this video. It's all up in the air right now. But in that video, it did give us some glimpses of what is to come. There was one section in particular that showed mining of a planet, or a moon in this case. So it does confirm that moon mining is definitely coming. And when the patch dropped this week, we got everything that they talked about in the live stream. They didn't stretch it out across the month of August like a lot of us thought they were going to do. But again, there's the devs not really communicating with us as per the normal. Now, during the live video, they did give us some stats over this past year, such as 5 million plus registered players, 5.7 million plus ships lost, 3.3 billion NPC ships destroyed, 216 million plus missions completed, 99 million plus market transactions, equaling up to 702 plus billion ISK, 740 billion plus M3 of ore mined, and 1.7 billion stargates jumped. Now, they moved from this and they started giving us some of the future content that is now released, which was releasing a few days after this live stream. The first we're going to touch on is the factional war games and the LP store. Now, I do want to preface all of this by everything from this patch I am labeling the good, the bad, and the greedy. And we're going to find out exactly why I have these thoughts. You are going to hear my honest opinion of some of these things. Now, the first thing that came up was the factional war games. Now, the factional war games, fantastic. They allowed us to test this within the last month before it went live. We were all under NDA. We couldn't talk about anything other than they talked about. And here is a perfect example of, again, the devs not communicating with us. In a normal game, Marvel Strike Force, Star Wars Galaxies, all these other games that are out there, when they have their content communities and working partnership with the developers, they would give their content creators information undisclosed under the NDA, but they would tell them, hey, a few days before this, release the information, build the hype, get people involved, get the community jonesing for what's coming. They didn't even let us know that our NDA was lifted even after the patch went live. We were, assume, oh, we can talk about it now because it's out. And I don't, the devs are missing this huge opportunity. They have us here. We're trying to, boost this game, uplift this game for the community, get everyone excited, and they keep stumbling over their own damn feet. Now, I do digress, and I am sorry if I am going off on tangents. This is going to be a longer episode than normal. But again, I am suffering from sleep deprivation, as I've only had maybe about 13 hours sleep in the last 7 days. But let's get back to the factional warfare. The mode itself is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. You get to pick from any ship from within the faction. It's a faction versus faction battle, and the premise is actually pretty simple. You got 4 points in space, A, B, C, and D, and a freighter will appear at some of these locations, indicated in the upper left-hand corner of the map with a white dot letting you know where the hauler is. Now, your goal is the team you're on to get the first 6 hauler kills. Now, you get points for everything you do in this, whether it be assisting other players with player kills or the hauler kills. You get 50 points for blowing up the hauler. You get 20 points for blowing up a player. Now, you want to strike that balance between taking out the hauler and the players. If you get too greedy and just decide to go after the players, you risk losing those hauler kills and losing the match itself. It's tremendous fun. After one full session of playing it myself, I'm halfway to the next rank. And now we're going to start talking about the bad. The bad is, again, the devs not giving information to us nor the community. They had ample time. They knew what they were going to do. They just didn't want to do it. During the live stream would have been a perfect time to do it, talking about everything that faction warfare is. The one thing they didn't tell anyone is that it's only 2 hours per session and then a 5-hour cool-off period. So you can only partake in factional warfare 3 times per day in these 2-hour intervals. That would have been pertinent information for all of us to have, to give out, because everyone was so hyped when the patch went live. Everyone wanted to do factional warfare. Everyone thought you could just queue up and do it. But no, it's within these 2-hour windows. So now you can't even jump on the game and say, I got 30 minutes or I got 20 minutes to burn. I'll just do some arena real quick so I can actually accomplish something in the game. Well, only if you're in that 2-hour window can you do that now. Also, you can only queue up for the faction warfare within a NPC station. Now, they did let us know in the patch notes that went up 15 minutes after it went live, so I guess we kind of have to let them off the hook there, but not me. So, like I said, you can't queue up for it in your outpost. You cannot queue up for it in your citadel, only in an NPC station. Now, one thing that they don't really make clear to you is if you hit the start for the factional warfare and you keep getting a message that they can't start a match, check to see if you're in a fleet. If you are in a fleet, you cannot start it. You have to be out of a fleet, sole pilot, and do this. Now, everything is random. The team you get assigned to, the factional side that you're going to be playing for. The only thing you have control of is your gameplay and the ship that you fly. Now, you can try to skew this. If you want to play with some friends, you can maybe be on voice comms and do like a countdown. You're like 3, 2, 1, everyone hit start. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get on the same team in the same match. So that's the bad. We talked about the good. Let's talk about the greedy. The LP store. Okay. To premise this, let's see what the LP store is. The LP store is items that you can get, such as factional drones, ship debris from the long sought-after Sisters of Eve, Mordor's Legion, which everyone's been wanting for the last year, is gated behind these ranks. No problem. I have no problem with ranking up to get the better items. There's 4 ranks in total, and with each rank comes more items that you can buy from the store. Now, the store itself, however, is where I have the issue. There is 8 slots in the store that you can purchase items from, and it's random what is in your store. You can refresh the store, just like you can refresh the news stories, or the news missions. You have 3 refreshes per day to do so. This is the equivalent of turning Eve into a mobile gacha game, where everything is gated, your personal progression is gated behind RNG. So even if you are lucky, when you get that top rank, and you get that Sisters of Eve debris in that store, when you go to buy it, you can only buy the one, because then it blacks it out. You'll have to refresh the store and cross your fingers that it will come up in the randomness that is the store. I am totally against turning this into a gacha game, where it's no longer a part of, choose your adventure, sovereignty, politics, all that. It's now more relegated to gotta catch them all, collect all the ships. And that's my big gripe about the LP store. Other than that, the gameplay is phenomenal. It's fun. It's new content. It's fresh. I have a blast doing it. It's just, I don't understand why you always have to give us the carrot and then hitting us twice with a stick. So moving on, we have the new PvE content, the Relic sites. Now, these are great solo content that anyone can do, and I have absolutely no problem with this. All of it's good. Now, you do have to skill into hacking, and that's going to be under the same tab of your skills as exploration. Now, these new data and relic sites will need to be scanned down using your blue scanner. And you're going to need new modules such as the Relic Analyzer and the Data Analyzer to crack open the crates within these sites. Now, there's not going to be any NPCs in this site, so you don't have to worry about getting shot at by a angry NPC ship. However, you will have to worry about other players, and that's only in low sec and no sec. In the high sec ones, you won't have to worry about anyone except maybe another explorer coming in and trying to beat you to the punch of that crate. So it does offer a good opportunity for solo PvP as well. That being said, when you crack open these cases, you will find things in there such as industry decoders, which will help industry builders with reverse engineering efficiency, as well as industry building material efficiency, time efficiency. You put these decoders in, it will say you want to speed up the job. Well, you put this one in, it'll speed up the job, and you'll be able to pump out that build a lot faster. However, there is a drawback. Sometimes it will take more materials doing so. Such as the other one, say you want to save materials, but you don't care if it takes maybe 2 more hours to build. Well, you put those decoders in, and it'll help that way. Now, you'll also get rigs from these. I'm not sure if the rigs, what they told us in the live stream was that the rigs that you get from these will be the same from Inquisitors of the same caliber in that area. Now, the next thing they did was they told us that they have a completely new tutorial. And they rebuilt the new player experience. Doing so, they took the capital ships and threw them back 2 months to October. So we won't be seeing those to October in lieu of, the new player experience, which is more refined. Players can actually know what it's like to, say, be a miner being hunted by a pirate trying to kill you. And you do get to earn some cool medals from the tutorial doing it. So it is a good thing. Myself, personally, I don't, and this is just my philosophy, I didn't see why you would have to push back capitals for trying to do a new player experience a year after the game has been launched. This should have been a priority thing before the game launched. I understand refining it and everything, but I don't see the purpose of it. They explained it such as it's a very steep learning curve getting into EVE Echoes with how complex the game is, and this is going to ease the new players who just pick up the game to get them into it, whereas they will maybe throw the game out or uninstall it after 2 hours of frustration. But we'll see if the player base increases after this. So moving forward, they are adding new structures, and they actually elevated the whole SOV game by allowing you to upgrade your corporation's citadel to 3 tiers. They introduced these new ancillary structures that's going to elevate the entire system that you have SOV in. Some of these structures are the tax center, the bounty management center, analytical computers, the space lab. Now all these are going to do different things, such as the tax center will generate taxes for your corporation. The bounty management center, when installed and raised to the top level, this is going to give you more bounties per tick when you're ratting in your system. So say you're getting 3 million per tick ratting in your SOV system. Well, now with this elevated, you can now maybe get 5 million instead of 3 million per tick. Another good one is the Pirate Observation Array. Now this is going to make those special sites more frequent. Those Inquisitor sites pop more often in your system. And there's also the Space Lab, which will also generate a better reverse engineer proficiency efficiency. All good things that are added to the SOV game. Now, the one thing that they did add that not a lot of people are stoked about is the way SOV battles are going to be moving forward. And we're going to get more information on that moving forward, but it's going to be called, I believe it's the Entinosis Link. And what this is going to do is when you finally get down to that structure fight, instead of the Citadel exploding in brilliant fashion, it's now going to go out of control and allow the attacking force to take control of that Citadel, granting them the station and the SOV in that region. Now, it's unknown whether when that happens, if anything that you have in that Citadel gets transferred to the nearest ITC, or is it now locked in that Citadel until you retake it. The reasoning behind this is the devs didn't like the fact that the nullsec area still looks sparse a year out, with sovereignty maps not holding the entire region. So they now want the SOV citadels to always stay there and just change hands, rather than blacking out further spots in Null. Now, they did talk about the capital ships that were pushed back in October. And then, as far as we knew, and all they would tell us being the content creator team, is that they're going to get the dreadnoughts coming with the capital patch, and carriers and force auxiliary ships down the line, maybe a year out. What they surprised everyone with in the live stream is that they are going to drop both in October at the same time. So dreadnoughts and carrier ships will now be in October, and I'm very excited for that. Everyone that's known me, has talked to me, knows my aspirations of being a Thanatos pilot. For those of you that don't know, that is the Galante carrier. Carriers are a lot of fun, especially if you're a drone head like I am. Now, these ships, the dreadnoughts will have a siege module, which will provide extreme damage to structures, as well as other capital ships. They're going to get huge resistance and E-War bonuses. And the carriers will able to fit a special module that will increase scan resolution. They're going to add more capitals down the line, so we're going to see more caps further out. So we will eventually see, I know everyone hates to hear about it, the super capitals as well as titans. So now we talk about some of the other things, the good, bad, and the greedy. Because it's the 1-year anniversary celebration, they gave us a new calendar, or I'm not sure you could call it a calendar. It's more of a login. Basically, you're a different version of the Concord point system, and this is for the anniversary, which is cool. You can win a lot of stuff from the anniversary store, the points and everything else with this, such as, and these are the good parts, the nanocores for your faction battleships and your faction cruisers. So they will no longer be outshined by these tech level 10 battleships. That being said, it is gated for full benefits behind AUR. Another cash grab. So it is, in essence, come celebrate 1 year, but give us more of your money. If you want everything that we want to give you to celebrate our game. Now, along with this, there were some great offers. Again, cash grabs. One is the Growth Fund, which when you hit tech level 10 and you go for this, it's $19.99 US funds. So you're getting your Omega combo plus some Plex, but every level that you hit up to tech level 10 is going to grant you not only Plex and skill points, but also insurance points. I went from having, I know you're all going to laugh at this, 900 900 insurance points. Yes, I know I'm flying my Vigilant and my Hyperion uninsured. I get that. I know that. Thank God none of you, blown me up with it. But I went from that to having over 14,000 insurance points after hitting this, and 2,300 Plex after only having 80 Plex in my account. It also granted me, I believe, 1.5 million skill points to be used. Now with this, there was another offer, a blue one, which covers the entire history of how long you've had Omega Combo, granting you special things, such as these new ships, the Praxis, the Stellaris, and the Gnosis, the Society of Thought ships, these faction destroyer, battlecruiser, and battleship. They're very cool ships. They fit a very niche spot. I wouldn't say it's not something I would fly every day going hunting or anything. It's a very expensive ship to lose, and we will get to that in the big kills. But there is an issue with this. And that issue is if you use the link to get the Omega from that Omega special deal, you will not get the benefits from the Growth Fund. I found this out personally as I bought that one first and then found out I had to buy the other one from the Growth Fund. So what I would suggest to take advantage of both offers of this blatant cash grab, which I know it's a fine line cash grab because the Plex that you get if you're tech level 10 from the Growth Fund can fund a year's worth of play from the game. I get that. It's just so many offers wanting you to spend money so many different ways at the same time is what's annoying. But my suggestion to you is take advantage of the Growth Fund, which will then in turn activate the Omega special combo deal to get you those other faction ships and other tidbits. Okay, so that gets the cash grabs out of the way. Let's talk about the other things from the anniversary celebration. One of which is the server-wide rewards that you can get from this as well. And I don't know how they're generated. I guess they're from the new rifts that are open, these mega rifts, which is entitled the Rift of Error, the Treasury Nihilist space. And what you do is you go in there, it's just basically the same as a Nihilist Dead Space, except there's no elite ships. And what you want to do is you get into this treasury room, burn right to the public room. It's not called the public room. I'm sorry. I'm again suffering from sleep deprivation. I can't really remember what it is, but it's a special room you want to go in, and there's going to be about 4 boxes in there, 2 of which are nobles, which you're going to get a coin from the Eve coin, which is the currency of, again, another new store, which is the anniversary store. We're going to touch on that in a minute, but you'll get either like a ton of coins, it'll say, or a handful of coins. And these are boxes themselves. You take them back, you open them up in a station, and they'll add to your total anniversary coin count. Now, in the other boxes, you can get permanent skins from the anniversary as well, in loot crate form. Now, again, it is a good chance for PvP within these, so be on the lookout. And apparently there is an issue with them that we've discussed in the content creator section, where they are just spawning on top of each other, and like in one system alone. Last night we scanned down, I believe, 17 that popped in one system. They're probably going to reduce this come either next week's patch, or they might do a hotfix for this, so take advantage of it now. Now, in this anniversary store, there are some great things to buy, such as what we talked about earlier, were these crates that you can open up to get your faction battleship and faction cruiser nanocores. Now, as far as I know, you get to choose the nanocore. It's not a random thing such as the the Breeze nanocore boxes that we've been getting. This one is, you open it up, you decide which nanocore you want. It is a purple one, so it is non-transferable. Once you open it, it's yours. You can't trade it or sell it. Now, those are truly the best things to purchase in this store. The other things are skins, limited time skins, that you can get in the store as well as nanocore things to build up and upgrade your nanocores. Oh, and yes, you can buy skill points now through this store. So if you want to instantly level up, you can now pay to win. And that also goes for the special deals as well. You can actually buy flat out skill points injectors now, basically, to level you up. Now, you can only get up to, there's a limit, you can only get up to 4 million skill points before the system stops allowing you to buy. But again, that's kind of a really easy way to level up fast, just swiping your credit card. And the next thing we talked about in the last episode, or the hype video that I made before this, is the big event, which is the Freighter Raid event. Again, we were under NDA about this, and we weren't allowed to talk about a lot of things, and they never told us when they can lift the NDA. So again, I don't know what I can talk about, what I can't talk about. I'm just going to talk about it. So there's going to be 4 days events, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Each day there's going to be a special live streamer doing a show that's going to give you hints through their show, as well as Eve Echo's social media, as to where you want to go to find this NPC freighter that's just floating around in space. It's east, north, west, and south. Sorry, blanked out there for a second. And each day the freighter will be in a new section, one of the 4 directions. You have to hunt down this freighter and kill it. Now, when you kill this freighter, it's not only going to give you 10 billion of ISK worth of modules that are going to drop, 3 guaranteed officer modules will drop with every freighter kill. Now, that is Meta 16. That's the purple module that you can't get anywhere else currently right now, other than this event. And I think Meta 16 would also be X type Dead Space manufacturing, but considering how expensive it is to make those, it's not really worthwhile to do so. I don't see on here if I can talk about it or not. Yes, okay. It's here on the note, so I can actually talk about it. The person who gets the kill mail of the freighter will get their choice from the full list of Meta 16 modules. They will send you 1 module for that kill mail via mail. And now these Meta 16 ones are freely tradable. You can put them up on the market and sell them and make a complete windfall. However, with the declining market as we see it, who knows what that windfall will be. But yeah, so that's what else. Now, it appears, and this is just my speculation, that one of the live streamers that were reported earlier has dropped out because it's now says top secret, whereas it used to tell you who the streamer was for the 7th. And you know me, if I could, I would do it myself, stream it, if they would allow me to it. But I don't know if it would interfere with my actual real life job, which I need to support my family. So that covers the game news itself. So let's move into, but first, your Plex market report. Plex has stabilized around 1.2 million and between 1.3 million per Plex. It isn't at an all-time low. Who knows if it's going to go up or down with this new event. possibly down, since with these offers for real money to get the Mega Combo, you would gift with the growth fund, you were gifted a lot of Plex. So I'm expecting that the Plex market to be diluted and to continue in a downward trend. Now, the community news, there is really one big story that happened this week, and that would be the huge standing change between some of the superpowers within Null. Now, there was a big thing that happened this past week between Pantheon, No Police Stop, and Silent Alliance, all centered around Honk. Now, we've talked about in the past the war between Das Boop and Honk, and Pantheon as a whole with Honk, and how Honk has been terrorizing Fountain in their little war here. Now, at the same time of that, we have No Police Stop burning Vale to the ground. And yes, between last episode and this episode, they did blow up several more corporation citadels belonging to Lunar and Solar Eclipse. At that time, current standings between Pantheon and Silent Alliance were blue. So in essence, Lunar and Solar Eclipses were also blue to Pantheon. Now, they were crying out at the time that they need ships to help defend their space, as No is just wiping them out. Pantheon decided to move in after finding out that they needed help, to move in and help out their allies in Silent to protect Lunar and Solar Eclipse. Now, to help out this effort, a new coalition server was built called GOAT. I don't know why it was called GOAT. Don't ask me. I know it was told to me at one point, but I seriously forgot. Again, remember, we're going scriptless here. And I knew something had been up or near the end of the tech, because I was actually given a link and welcomed in, to everyone's surprise, on the GOAT server to see everything that was happening. Now, they were coordinating against No at the time. Now, one of the defense fleets coming to, I believe it was Lunar's defense, Pantheon decided to send a fleet of interceptors. Now, while they were on deployment, coming to help, I believe it was either Lunar or Solar Eclipse, they really are almost one and the same. They worked together for so much time within Silent space. During this time, Honk moved in and basically blazed Skaven, I believe it was, J-Factor's corporation legend, to the ground. They burned their bases, all their rat bases and everything else. Now, midway to defense, Pantheon stopped their fleet, turned around, and went home, and contacted Pantheon at the same time through diplomatic channels, as well as this new GOAT Discord server, to let them know that Pantheon main forces and fleets will be standing down in helping, assisting Lunar and Solar Eclipse, as well as all of Silent Federation, in any endeavor until Silent reins Honk in to stop them from doing what they are doing. Now, these pleas were met by silence, but less than 24 hours later, every member that was on the GOAT Discord server who belonged to Silent Federation deleted their account and left the server. Soon after, Nihilist put a announcement on the Silent Discord to let everyone know the situation moving forward, as well as the history. They basically told them that they entered a partnership with Pantheon in good faith to work together to help the Veil of Silent family portion of Silent Federation. That they entered this arrangement in good intentions with pure and honest and sincere goals of removing those that took tremendous loss from their allies. They witnessed hundreds of billions of assets deleted, relocated, or leave due to morale losses from aggressive and well-executed play versus the No Alliance and their enemies, Fireflies. They basically say that they reached out to Pantheon, the server was formed, and a coalition was built to deal with the No situation. They state that during one of these defenses that, interactions became sour due to Pantheon reaching the field of battle, but instead of engaging, they decided to turn around and leave. They said they were given a list of demands from Pantheon that basically told them that they need to bring in Honk and have Honk cease hostilities and operations within Fountain if they wanted Pantheon's help. And due to this, the leadership banned all Silent members from the GOAT Discord, pulled out, and decided to reset standings with Pantheon back to neutral. Now, this does come as a somewhat of a surprise, given the fact that Honk's relationship with Silent is, yes, they are under the Silent banner. However, in joining Silent Federation, they were agreed to leave Pantheon neutral so that they can fight within Fountain against Pantheon. And in doing so, if Honk came under attack from Pantheon, they would not have Silent back them up for defensive purposes. Tensions have somewhat came down, and both have agreed on I believe, a non-invasion pact. Free PvP to both, so we are seeing fights between Silent and Pantheon, but in a non-territorial grabbing sort of war. Demonstrating such, a Pantheon fleet entered their space. It was a heavy fleet fielding battleships and battle cruisers, was similarly dismembered by a Silent cruiser fleet. So currently right now in the super block relationship-wise, we now have Pantheon and Silent neutral, gray to each other. However, both individually are blue to Genesis. Now, if a war does spring up between Pantheon and Silent, I guess it then will fall to Genesis on which side of the war they will partake. Almost in reminiscence of what Golden Horde did when the Great War started. Now, I did reach out to Nihilist for an official statement, and his statement reads that the current diplomatic standings have been basically reset to a state before he took over as executor. Pantheon is neutral. With the exception of setting some groups red in the south, things are diplomatically not changed. They are neutral with Catch-22, Pantheon, and currently blue with Genesis, their oldest block ally. They have no interest in war with Pantheon. The narrative has been claimed that Honk's actions are the actions of Silent, but that's not true. We have enjoyed the content Pantheon has brought to the north, and have not directed actions in Pantheon space, and encouraged only retaliatory strikes. Now, I did also reach out to Sun Banana for an official Pantheon statement on everything that has happened as well, and he said he did explain everything during one of his fireside chats. He goes on to say that he explained the whole situation and how Honk was using the intel about us going on CTA with Silent to hit us in the back, kill our bases, and set structure timers, while we were essentially helping them, being Silent. Silent demanded that we should still help while letting Honk hit us in the back. This obviously they could not allow. In Pantheon, no one gets left alone in the dark. We stand by our friends, and side by side we go into the future together. So then Silent started calling Pantheon liars, and then suddenly a fully blown anti-Pantheon propaganda campaign orchestrated by Silent and No started against them on Reddit. You can go back and you see thread after thread after thread of beautiful propaganda over the last 2 weeks. At the same time, Silent sold all Veil to No, and all Veil Silent were left to burn. And he says, Goat poofed, as we know, after they declined to go on the CTAs as long as Honk was attacking them in the back, and here we are. Silent communities being left to die. They try to twist reality, and everyone in Pantheon is positive about us upholding the most important thing in the game, which is to stand by your friends and always uphold your ideals. This is the most important thing people in the communities can be judged on. Letting your people burn, as Silent has done, is a hard opposite to what Pantheon is doing, and where we go to great lengths to ensure the betterness of everyone. The rest is to be decided by the community at this point. Now, one of the main outcomes of all of this has been the collapse of solar eclipse as well as lunar, and the fall of Veil. Now, a lot of those corporations have broken off. Some of them have joined Silent. Some of them have joined No. However, the bulk of them, 19 of them, have in fact joined Genesis Federation, also granting Genesis Federation that 5th regional soft point. That's right, Genesis Federation now holds sov points in 5 different regions of the game. Another little twist from this is that Null was put down sov as well in Vale, and it shows the region now belonging to No Police Stop. Now, one of the things that did happen during the breaking of Solar Eclipse and Lunar was the deletion of their Discord server, which a lot of people say that this kind of was a dick move. The way it went down was a lot of people still used this community, even though they were going different places, to converse with each other, as well as there being a lot of historic posts in here, as well as OPSEC information. This Discord server has been up and running since before Warp collapsed. I mean, this is a very old Discord server, and to watch it basically burn, and there, as you can see in the background, they took video of them deleting the server. A lot of people did say that that was kind of just a dickish move. Whereas the owner of the Discord server says that he had ownership of this, it was his. They used it, you know, since back before, and he had every right to do what he did. Now, on a whole, there has also been a ceasefire that was bartered between Pantheon and Honk. However, there are still some shenanigans going on, which we will talk about later on in the week when I get more information on that story. But as of right now, the shake-up standings are that Pantheon and Silent are neutral to each other. No and Fireflies are basically still red to everybody, while Hold Up in the Vale. So we really don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if there's going to be a bigger war that's basically just on the cusp of happening, or if we're just going to see some continued PvP. Those in fear of a large blue donut, however, can now rest easy, as a lot of these entities are now no longer blue with each other. Another big story this week happened with a well-known community figure, Elondria, former queen of the Borg of Pantheon, and before that, Genesis. I reported that she retired from the game. I was, in fact, misled. She did join Silent Alliance under a cover of secrecy. And she broke the secrecy on the Echoes of New Eden podcast with Rambo during an hour-long interview, where she went on to say how she was ousted from Pantheon, from her Alliance Borg, where she had to hand over the reins to her second-in-command, Lexia, and then was summarily kicked out of Pantheon space. She went on to say that she was welcomed into Silent Alliance, but that also was contingent upon her silence of how everything went down. Now, you can get her full story from Echoes of New Eden podcast, and I urge you to go listen to it, and others of his podcasts as well, because he does put out a great show. The main takeaways was that Elondria spoke her mind about certain things that were going on within Pantheon. She was the SOV officer, so there were SOV disputes, as well as there was a tax situation that she spoke her mind on. Now, I did ask her why she had to keep silent about how she was brought out of Pantheon, and she says because they felt that her speaking about it would cause issues for them, that it would create instability and undermine their authority. That's her best guess. She said they didn't really give her a reason, it was only threats. And when I asked her what were the threats that were issued, she said that the Borg would be kicked out, set to red, and that she was to stay red. They had her red for half a day before everything was negotiated, and then they told her to just accept it and move on with her gaming life. They said her remaining off of the red list was contingent upon her silence. And with Pantheon being blue to silent at the time, that silence had to be monitored. And she's able to speak out now that the GOAT Discord and that coalition has been broken. Now, I did reach out to Sun Banana on his take of that interview, and he said it was a big, twisted, fabricated story that she's telling, and that she's blatantly lying 80% of the time. She's putting real events into the wrong light, and while she was trying to push her agenda on voice within the Alliance CEOs, saying her people want her to do this on her own, her officers PM'd him immediately and told him that they did not support her doing this at all. He states that she alienated a lot of people with her greed for ISK and was grabbing high-tech systems, with her being the soft coordinator for Pantheon. When people were asking for these systems, she suddenly came around and told them that they were already belonged to Borg and stuff like that. Ultimately, he was writing to people worrying about her well-being while all this was going down. Now, he did suggest me talking to Lexia, her second-in-command, on her take of everything, and the screenshots of all this conversation that you see in the background right now was published on Reddit right after I had the conversation with him. I told him, feel free, post it right up, get your story out there. I here am just reporting on it. In a nutshell, Son Banana says that none of this is his fault. Her officers turned on her, and that he is a very emotional, driven person. And he does feel a lot of compassion for every living being, and as a whole, that everything that she's going with deeply does upset him. He states that Elondria, like many others, are picturing Pantheon and Son Banana as liars. He does state, however, that he has never lied. Pantheon has never lied itself. We have many friends in the game, blue, neutral, and red, and there is no hate between us. Reason for this is that we never lie and we never put out toxic and hateful propaganda. From the 13th August 2020 until today, into the future to come, we have never promoted, nor will we ever promote hate, toxicity, or lie to anyone inside or outside of the game. If you have any more questions, please feel free to write in. That being me, so sorry, sleep deprivation still, has its grips on me. Now, one could say that this would be countered by just doing a brief glance at Reddit for any dead posting, or posting against dead within the game. But for this story purposes, let's leave it there. Now, Lexia did write to me. She said that the interview given did not present all the facts nor the process of events. The version portrayed left out actual facts and events and discussions, along with accurate conclusions by all parties. Elondria had plenty of opportunity to change course with current and past alliances, but chose not to listen to reason nor facts given at the time. Elondria was given the opportunity to leave Pantheon with Borg and chose not to. Borg is thriving as part of Happy Bees and Pantheons to this day. Well, regardless of past issues, it seems that all parties today are happy where they are with their current organizations. And another story, the Echoes of the Front, as well as the EVE Echoes community, would like to say goodbye to the destroyer of alliances, Evil Darkness. That's right, Evil Darkness has quit playing EVE Echoes and has moved on to greener pastures. So we will wish him well in his future endeavors, and note the fact that the only alliance that he has not destroyed himself has been silent. Other news in the recent Mercenary World, Sixth Seal Alliance has run into issues with its founding members. That's right, the co-founders of Sixth Seal Alliance has broken up. One of the founding members, David6606, has broken one of the cardinal rules of their charter, and as of such, has been removed from Sixth Seal Alliance, set to red, and a bounty placed on his head. I did reach out to David, and he said, simply put, he broke one of two rules the Sixth Seal has. Do not divulge information to anyone outside of the Alliance. Yes, I leaked information to certain groups without properly thinking it through, and it cost a lot of people billions and stressed relationships. There was a lot of things moving behind the scenes, and I got sloppy with the amount of chess pieces moving around the board, as there always is in EVE, and it will be interesting to see how the dominoes fall when the dust settles, regardless of rank, title, or prestige. We are all held accountable for our actions, and I broke the rules and was punished for it. Six is a great alliance for people who want to have fun and casually do their own playstyle while having others share it with. He will miss them as he embarks on his next journey. The universe is great to him now, something he has not seen since his first time within the game, and it is refreshing to know everyone out here will now be possible kill mail or lost mail, or some a little more zealous in their pursuit. I also reached out to Good Space Guy. I've known both of these parties since the beginning of the game within Terran Federation, and I I like both of the guys. I'm friends with both these guys, and they've always been super great guys. But that's neither here or there. I reached out to Good Guy, and we had a comms conversation about it, and he basically said the same. Without giving out details and OPSEC information, David leaked out information about contracts that were not supposed to be talked about, and thus he was set to red and a bounty put on his head. And everyone is held accountable to the rules. He says if things were reversed, he would expect David to do the same to him, kick him out of the community and set him red. It's just one of those things that you have to deal with while being a mercenary, in a mercenary outfit. Your reputation is everything, and once that gets tarnished, the contracts start, to stop flowing. Now, I do also want to apologize. I know this is scriptless, and I know this is 15 days late, and I know you guys keep telling me stop apologizing, but I've been just really burnt out lately. Not so much with the game, but everything. It seems like during these summer months, everything hits at once, and I'm just finding it harder and harder to upkeep the content creator status, giving you guys what you guys want, and I do apologize for that. And I can only do however much I can get done. I will try and start doing shorter videos and putting out things faster in the week. But again, this apologies for me. Now, we do have a Corporation Alliance Spotlight this week, and that is in the form of Tuna Lords. Tuna Lords are an active and fast-growing corporation for vets and noobs alike. They pride themselves on their ability to offer a family-like environment with big Alliance benefits. As a new member of the Gravity Alliance, Tuna Lords can offer both nullsec and Empire space for players to mine, rat, mission run, and engage in industry. Unlike other corporations, Tuna lets you choose your own playstyle. Want to be a PvP pilot? They have numerous experienced FCs within their alliance and corporations. Through their corp, they offer top-tier mining and ratting opportunities, regular ship giveaways, and events to keep their constantly growing player base more active than your mom's OnlyFans. Space Tunas are looking for active members interested in a soft corporation with a small group atmosphere. Please check them out. Contact information will be below in the description. Alright, we do have a few big kills this week. Bant starts us off with a 4.7 Raven Striker. OG with an amazing 15 billion Charon Freighter kill. Now, I do have a link to the video on this kill, and it will be down below in the description. Catch-22 Honey Badgers has a 8.3 billion Macario kill. Mug comes in with a 3.3 billion Abaddon kill. Silent comes in with a 8.6 billion Macario kill. True Wolf with an 11 billion Vindicator kill. And we also have Genesis with a 8.6 billion Macario kill. FAP and Six Seal Lines comes in with a 8.4 billion Macario kill and a 10.7 billion Vindicator kill. Pew gets this 3.4 billion Rock kill. And CVRT with a 9.1 billion Vindicator kill and a 3 billion Dami 2 kill. And now we come to everyone's favorite portion of the show. That is the chance to win a free Omega combo and the solo kills of the week. Now, we do have a few highlights of some kills, honorable mentions, if you will. Right here we have Captain Benzi's Worm, killed by a sentry gun. We have several of those new ships that were granted the Society of Thoughts. I believe it's the Sunesis, the Gnosis, those two ships. We have those killed within hours of them going live. That's right. They got these ships, they brought them out, and they died. But here they are. But let's get to the list of the top killers this week, and for the past 2 weeks. All right, starting us off, we have Cream Pie Donut with a 2.6 billion Covered 2 kill. We have Not You Again with a 2.7 billion Covered 2 kill. We have Duncan 7 Liang with a 2.8 billion Covered 2 kill. Redneck Rick with a 2.9 billion Terra kill. We have CNDL with a 3.3 billion Executioner 2 Interceptor kill. Yarek. Yeah, I know I butchered that. It's fine. We're moving on. 3.7 billion Nereus 2 kill. M1A1 with a 3.9 billion Badger 2 kill. Nira with a 4.5 billion Terra kill. As you can see, they just keep getting bigger and bigger here. Dr. Naughty Moist. Yes. With a 5.7 billion Outpost kill. Immortal Rage with a 6.3 billion Badger 2 kill. And the winner of this week's Omega Combo is Honk's own Airbus A380-800 with a 9.7 sigil kill. Airbus, you know how to get to me. Get me on Discord, hit me up, I'll get that prize out to you. Now, I know this has been a little unorthodox, this show this week. I know it's being stretched out further and further. We've apologized, we're moving forward. It's a new day. But, being as a new day, you don't have to stop getting your news here. Even though I'm done with this show, you have other outlets to hit up, such as Sky News, Russia's premier Eve Echoes news. Don't worry, there is English captions. Enjoy the show. They have great content. They cover news that I don't, and vice versa. We will have different outlooks on the same story. You also have Rambo's Echoes of New Eden podcast with interviews and roundtable discussions every single week. I would suggest you hit them up as well. So, from me to all of you, remember, fly safe. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Yada, yada, yada. You know. Oh, and remember, we're always one vision, one purpose, one front.